Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to be looking at Toxic Number 1, an English anthology comic. First issue here is dated March 28th, 1991. Yes, it was weekly. And this is kind of an interesting comic because it was kind of trying to go up against 2000 AD, a weekly newsstand comic that would appeal to teenage boys, basically. And but the difference is here is, 2000 AD was all work for hire. They own everything. Toxic is all creator owned. And so it's a damn shame that it didn't last very long. I think there's like 30 issues roughly of this comic. So it didn't even make it through a year. But it's a valiant effort. Definitely some money went into this, full color throughout. Apparently they came out every week and were put on newsstands throughout England, but it just didn't survive. And that's very sad. I wish it kept going and these guys could have profited from their own successful magazine, which they don't do with 2000 AD, unfortunately. Definitely, I'm pretty sure Kevin O'Neill was kind of behind this comic. And as we can see, he does the first cover. His character, Martial Law, well, his and Pat Mills' character. And a very odd cover, has nothing to do with the story within. Just Martial Law taking out this dinosaur superhero, a dinosaur in tights, and he's blown a hole through him. And then we can see this other super guy. So it's a very odd cover. And this very much looks Kevin O'Neill to me. Not that I'm an expert, but, just his lettering, his design work, just very kind of manic and very exciting and fun. Kevin O'Neill stuff, this looks like fun. I would totally pick this up if I was a kid back then, or if I was me, a 58-year-old man back then. Beautiful cover. We see this introductory page. It's definitely a product of the early 90s, It's very extreme and, kind of nasty, so the teenage boys will like it. Doc Talks is only interested in real sickos. So this is right to Doc Talks. I guess he was the host. They had this thing called the Bio Box where kids could write in the things they hate and why. Stuff like that, They're trying to have a community going on just like 2000 AD does with, God, I can't remember the name of the 2000 AD host right now. You know what I'm talking about. So we start off with Martial Law in The Hateful Dead. This is chapter 1 of a serial. Script Pat Mills, art Kevin O'Neill, and lettering Steve Potter. Same creative team. And this is chapter 1, Rise of the Zombies. And God, I need more of these because the zombies don't show up in this first chapter. But seeing Kevin O'Neill draw zombies, this looks great. This art is all around great. The coloring, everything. It doesn't say the colorist is. I'm going to assume it's Kevin O'Neill. It definitely looks like all of his other stuff. There's Martial Law. Great character design. So this introduction kind of introduces us to the world of martial law, if you're not familiar. It's in the future. The government has all of these superheroes at their beck and call. Basically, they were created because America was involved in all these crappy wars, like we were in the 80s when martial law was created in Latin America. So they used these shock troopers, as they're called, these superheroes, to invade other countries and fight wars. Here we see a little montage of that, all these weird random superheroes. We're going to see all these guys a little later because this is a flashback. But then they all came home. The wars ended. And so you had all these superpowered guys with nothing to do. So one of the things they did, they show this here, is we're at the Foul Play Club, where all of these out-of-work superheroes basically do UFC arena fighting with each other. But it's to the death. Look how gory this is. This one superhero is punching this guy. He's punching his torso right off of his waist with all the guts coming out. So I guess this was for older teenagers, I imagine. Though I'm sure plenty of younger teenagers would love to see this. Just like all Kevin O'Neill's art, it has all the little chicken fat, and everyone's t-shirt is saying something clever, and there's graffiti everywhere, just saying funny sayings and stuff. But man, look how great this art and coloring is. This is just great stuff. Really like Kevin O'Neill. Singular artist in comics history. So Martial Law shows up at his big battle wagon. Now Martial Law, his whole thing is he hunts heroes. In fact, in his own words, he says, "I'm a hero hunter. I hunt heroes. Haven't found any yet. Some call it police brutality. I call it reasonable force." So, he's very Judge Dredd-like, kind of fascistic, but it's played for laughs. Also, he hates superheroes. So this is like Garth Ennis, years before Garth Ennis even wrote for comics. Martial Law was created in the mid-'80s, and basically, you could tell Pat Mills does not like superheroes and just loves mocking them and depicting them being just totally destroyed and humiliated, just like in those Garth Ennis comics like The Pro or The Boys, So he shows up and he just starts killing all these motherfuckers, all these superheroes. They're just trying to make a living. I don't know. Look at how great Martial Law's character design is. He's like this total leather boy, leather daddy. So he leaves that place. So I guess he works for the government too. So I guess the government probably doesn't want all these superheroes running around. Martial Law is he's a superhero himself. He has superpowers at least. They kind of hire him to keep these other superheroes in line. He ignores a domestic call between Sacred Cow and the Maniacs. We saw this guy earlier in that montage. He's old and fat now. And I guess his girlfriend, Hell's Kitten, has phasing powers. And I guess that's part of their kinky sex play. She phases right into his crotch, but she got stuck. So when Sacred Cow came home, she went on the warpath. And I like how Martial Law's just like, I'm not getting involved in that shit. No way. Fuck that. So then he goes to this part of town, which is kind of like the red light district. So all these superheroes, they're out of work. They got no way to make money. And so they do this. There's stress relief parlors down here, which are almost like, kind of like whorehouses, but it's all sadomasochism where people can beat up superheroes for money. So if you're like some little nebbish, you can feel like a big man by taking a baseball bat to these superheroes, because these shock troopers, they feel no pain. And I don't know, it's part of, I guess when they were created, they have no nerves or something. So they're all, and this also gives Kevin O'Neill a total opportunity to put in all this signage and all this crazy shit like he likes to do. We see this one little guy trying to make a deal with this one superhero. He's like, $20 for a fist in the face, $60 for a full workover, baseball bats extra. So I guess he gets called into Cobweb's palace. Now, Cobweb, we saw earlier, too, in that montage. He was much skinnier then. And some of the superheroes have a little money, and they're the exploiters instead of the exploited. So he owns this stress relief parlor, hires other superheroes to get beat. And I guess there was a murder there. One of the superheroes flipped out and killed the guy beating him up. God, man, gruesome stuff. His arm's ripped off, his foot's ripped off. Martial Law's initial investigation, seeing what this John, if you will, was doing to the superhero, he's like, he chalks it up to justifiable homicide. And so after that, he's on the trail, though. He's going to find this guy. And unfortunately, that's where chapter 1 leaves off. So I guess this is going to lead to some zombie antics. But, man, I really got to hunt down the rest of these toxics. Judging by this first issue, this is some world-class shit going on. I mean, this is the cream of the crop of the English comic creators, And some great stuff in here. So this is Accident Man, story by Pat Mills and Tony Skinner, art by Martin Emond. Martin Emond was kind of that post-Simon Bisley wave of artists, kind of painterly, kind of also very stylized and kind of weird, because Simon Bisley showed that it was popular. Kids seemed to like it. So all these kind of strange artists kind of became mainstream in England. So Accident Man is a hitman. He calls himself Accident Man because he always likes to make it look like an accident or suicide, so people don't investigate. So he's sitting in this guy's apartment that he broke into, waiting for him to get home so he can kill him. So it's very interesting. Martin Newman has a very distinct style. But you can kind of see this Simon Bisley, like, almost like just the testosterone of Simon Bisley you can see in his artwork. It doesn't necessarily look like his art style, but it shares an energy with it. The guy comes home, Accident Man immobilizes him, puts a noose around his neck, makes it look like a suicide, and then leaves. I guess after every time he does a hit, he's very keyed up. So he likes to go to a bar and get in fights, start fights with guys to work off some of his tension. And so he goes to this one bar, and conveniently, these assholes are fucking with his waitress, so he starts a fight with them. And his fight scenes are really dynamic. Like, look at that. I love that pose as he's punching this guy. It's just like his whole body is shifting into it. And this is an interesting page where it's all vertical strips of action, and we're just seeing him kick the shit out of these guys. I mean, beyond that, he's ripping this guy's arm off practically, doing his Thai kickboxing. There's another great pose here. And doing all kinds of various kung fus and martial arts. And I like that panel a lot too, just the sweep of that. Yeah, definitely fun fight scenes going on here. And of course the dialogue is all played up for laughs, just like that whole 2000 AD thing, where it's yeah, you're getting kick-ass action, but it's always like trying to make you laugh, you know? The writers are always putting in jokes, the captions are kind of funny. So then he goes to his local bar, which is like there's bars for actors, for certain bars where musicians hang out. This is a bar where all the hitmen hang out. So he goes there and he's talking to his colleagues about recent jobs they've been doing. And that's the end of this chapter. So I have no idea where this story's heading. So I always say this. I like to usually look at a full run of something, but I've had this Toxic #1 probably since the early 90s, and I've never seen another copy in the wild ever. So I'm pretty sure there's a small chance I'm ever going to get the rest of the Toxics. I'd like to, but it's not like I'm going to find these in dollar bins or, they're English comics. Might have not even been distributed here. So I just wanted to review this, show off this really great comic, and but I really wish I had the rest, because it's kind of annoying to have to just show you the first chapter of all these things. Next we have Mutomaniac in Space Cannibals, and this is Mike McMahon on the art duties, and I think, actually I should have looked up who wrote it. This is the space prison, and there's this prisoner named Edward Ross. Look at the space prison. We see all of these prisoners just floating in space around it. So Edward Ross is being told that he's been diagnosed with mutomania, a condition which makes you prone to an irresistible urge to disobey. Because your condition wasn't deduced earlier, it is now terminal, and you're hereby expelled from Penotech. That's the name of this penitentiary. The warden says goodbye, Ross. Look at these amazing outfits. Mike McMahon's so great. And look how just crazy his art is. Like, he's gotten so stylized over the years. Look at this. This is like an Easter Island statue. Look at that schnoz there. This is really interesting art. It looks like some crazy European cartoonist. So they're going to throw him out the airlock door. Apparently, though, we find out this guy, Jonathan Ross. I don't know if this is a new character, or he was in other comics. He has this kind of probability factor where luck is always with him. So they're going to shoot him, the gun jams, they're going to throw him out the airlock, the door doesn't work. Everything kind of always goes his way. That's his kind of superpower. Look, here's another great face there. This art's amazing. Look at this, how silly this guy looks. So, of course, the guns keep jamming. And so, Ross, he doesn't really even fight much. He just kind of gets out of the way and lets people trip and stumble since luck's on his side. Yeah, to be honest, I don't even care if I never find out what happens. Just, I love looking at this art. It's crazy. This it reminds me of Keith Giffen when he was doing Trencher, when he had that totally insane style, where it's like, this shouldn't work. None of this should work. And yet it looks amazing. Like, this face is crazy. All these faces are nuts. So Ross basically, of course, succeeds because luck's always with him. He grabs a gun and he escapes on a shuttle. And, well, we don't know what happens after that. But finally, we have a self-contained story, which I can show you with good conscience. This is Once Upon a Time in the West. It's written by Alan Grant and beautifully painted by Simon Bisley. Featuring the corpse with no name and his dead horse pard. So we see this guy riding into town. God, I love Simon Bisley. I love the way he draws this dead horse with the dead eyes. The population 717 sign, he blows away all the numbers because he knows what's going to happen. Man, look at this, the coloring here by Bisley. It's so sun-baked. It almost feels like you're in the desert and it's 110 degrees and the sun's glaring down at you. So these guys in town are like, that's far enough, stranger. We don't want your type in town. Like how a lot of Westerns start. And he just pulls out his gun and starts blowing everyone away. God, this is the body language there. So good. Simon Bisley's amazing. This character says, death is my business here. The corpse with no name. And he just starts decimating the town. This blacksmith threatens him, and the horse just kicks him in the air. And the corpse with no name finishes them off. So a fire starts, and so they start one of those, a bucket chain, you know? Everyone starts trying to put it out. They were kind of ignoring the corpse with no name for a second. Look at that great face there. That's amazing stuff. Almost every panel in here is just stunning. So the corpse with no name shoots at the legs of this water tank, the water tower. It spills and puts out the fire, and then he just continues to murder everyone in this town. I think this is like the last person left alive. He says, "The Undertaker, where is he?" And he says, "We don't have an Undertaker. We got to send all of our dead people over to Shooter's Creek. They got an Undertaker." And he says, "You mean this ain't Shooter's Creek?" "No, Shooter's Creek's over there, over the ridge." "You ain't the ones that's lynched my brother?" "We ain't lynched a soul in 20 years. Shit. He gets on his horse and just is like, sorry. The end. Yeah, not much of a story at all, but God, that's definitely worth the price of admission. So, I mean, this is the main reason I wanted to show off this comic, because I don't know if this was ever reprinted anywhere. Probably what I hope it was, because this is amazing stuff. It should be. But just, God, if Toxic has stuff 1/10 this good, I'm definitely going to maybe even spend some money on trying to find those issues. I probably won't for a long time because I'm always broke. But man, this comic was great. And we have a nice back cover by Kevin O'Neill. Do your friends have mad comic disease? No? Then tell them to go Toxic. Hold up, road meat, ozone, schmozone, kiss my tracks. They might as well be like, step into a Slim Jim. It's so 90s extreme stuff. So there you go, guys. Toxic, number 1. I need more. And I hope you guys like looking at it. I'm sorry about most of them weren't even stories that finished. But it's still damn fun to look at this stuff. It's just almost every story was pretty stellar. At least, looking. So hope you like looking at it with me, and I hope to see you next time here at the Herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.